Hello, hello, hello. Kruligan Soccer Podcast coming at you from slightly different variations and backgrounds as well. Kruligan, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. I think you're on the East Coast this week.
No, I'm still in the morning, but not for very long.
Not for very long. Wonderful.
No.
You are on the road.
I am on the road, ladies and gentlemen, and today at this time I am in a hallway on the campus of the American University in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. So
Wow.
I've been unable to secure any sort of room where I'm going to be sound isolated, so our audio quality may be suffering a little bit, and there could be people walking behind me or coming in to ask me to shut my big fat mouth.
Well, there we
Either
go.
way, it's going to be good.
It's going to be it. Well, I hope we don't have a tempered Kruligan based on the environment you're in. I like a free and flowing and boisterous and loud, opinionated, salty Kruligan. Those are my favorite
this is an open speech campus. I'm pretty sure I could say all sorts of things, and we're keeping it restricted to soccer. So
wonderful. That's good stuff. Okay, so today we are going to cover the US Open Cup and the results that have been going on there. There've been some wild results and wild action there as well.
So awesome.
Yeah,
it's what soccer is meant to be. Truly,
it's beautiful. It's really coming together. You can see. I really do feel like this thing's going to start to get some momentum behind it and get a lot of interest, particularly with the TV rights. But we'll get into it. So we're going to do the US Open Cup, and then obviously, thankfully, thank the Lord, the Premier League has come back, and thankfully the international breaks and all of the other stuff as well. So we're wrapping up a game week, but we'll be looking into next weekend, this upcoming fixture weekend as well, which is also going to be showing some interesting results, which will be game week 31. So
37, I believe.
As always,
no.
Why don't we start? No, 31. Game week 37 would signify the end of the season because there's 38.
What am I thinking?
Yeah, East Coast. Oh, I do prefer West Coast Kruligan. East Coast Kruligan is East Coast Kruligan is not the same as West Coast. Okay, let's start with the US Open Cup because my goodness, this has been it's been fascinating to see all of this action. So, Kruligan, why don't we go around and some of the picks and some of the results from the US Open Cup that have caught your attention?
Yeah, honestly, you can't start without hashtag cupset. All right, this has been there. It is a. Hold on. I thought there was a fire.
Okay, don't worry.
Never mind.
Keep rolling. keep rolling.
The cup sets have been remarkable, and there are two to speak about. The first of which happened on April Fool's, and we wrote about it on the site, and it seemed like an April Fool's joke when the Burrito Boys, El Farolito, out of San Francisco, took an hour and 45-minute drive south to Monterey, which is also known as the sardine capital of the West, one of the largest sardine canning places in the world. And so it was a tasty and delicious fest of combating cuisines, styles, and everything. And boy, was it
sardine burritos. Is that it? Sardine burritos are going to be the new flavor.
You gotta love it. Burritos mariscos, ladies and gentlemen. And no, the game, I was here on the East Coast time staying up, and it just how to describe it. You don't have a gigantic crowd, but you've got this energy and this vibrancy among the players. The chat, because it was all live streamed on YouTube, which was great. And whoever sponsored that, thank you so much, because being able to just go onto YouTube and bounce, there were the same core group of sort of soccer aficionados that were bouncing from game to game to game. And so I bounced with them, and it was just magical. Many of the comments not safe for work, but to be honest with you, most of them were pretty respectful. And so it was great to see. And Farolito went down early. Monterey struck first. There was, it was a bit unfortunate on the Farolito side, but man, they just never give up. And I watched this team play Oakland Roots in last year's fixture, and they brought the Roots all the way to extra time. They had to go. Roots had to score a late, like 117th minute goal to beat them. And to be fair, I thought Farolito outplayed the Roots in that game. And on this particular occasion, on this particular night, it was the same deal. never say die. These guys just absolutely went in and crushed it. No, come on through. It's so good. See, we got our walkers coming through on the sideline here.
Love it.
No,
Love it. Yeah.
they came through absolutely put their chins down, dug their heels in, and played, and just played and played and played hard, and deservedly won the game.
Wow, that's amazing.
I've got some notes. Excuse me. I've got some notes here. Shout out to, let's see. There was, and firstly, the Monterey keeper Sam Gomez was phenomenal. When Farolito won, it took 4 shots. Gomez made 3 saves.
Yeah,
from short range. Shot,
and they were just pinging them at them. Yep.
No, and then the rebound went right back to the player. Shot. Right back to the player, shot. And then the fourth one finally went in. Okay. And it was just wow.
That's proper
Edgard
proper soccer.
Yeah. Edgard Creye took the first 2 shots that were stopped. And then, he got the one that actually went through. And then Andres Zulaga he was the scorer of Farolito's first goal. And Dembor Benson, and Dembor was the one who was responsible for the penalty kick that Monterey scored. So it was great redemption to see him come back and really and everybody, and the pure jubilation on the pitch after the game was
amazing.
Was heartfelt, and so deserved.
Fantastic. So this means now that the Burrito Boys, as they're now affectionately known as well, and what a great nickname as well. Yeah. They get through to the 3rd round now of the US Open Cup. So this is when MLS teams start to come in. Am I correct in that? Is that right?
The remaining USL Championship teams come in, and some select MLS Next teams come in. The ones that were lower in the rankings. It's all done by ranking.
Got it. So there is a world in which sort of the Burrito Boys from the Mission in San Francisco could draw a bigger team, obviously, and then
the likelihood is that they're going to draw either Oakland Roots or San Jose Earthquakes, and that is because the US
it's
Open
regional,
Cup
right?
Keeps it regionalized.
Yeah.
To for travel purposes. Now, mind you, they had to go to Salt Lake City to play their opening game against Monarchs with that one lone fan in the crowd waving his banner the whole time. But no, this we don't know who they're going to. They haven't had the draw yet.
They just had the results. Yeah.
So they just had the results.
Okay.
But that's the first one that we had to mention. I think we've gone up enough about Alfaro. The second one was last night. And that was, who was that? Hold on. Actually, yes, Hearts of Pine.
Okay. Pine.
Hearts of Pine. So this is a Portland. Hearts of Pine is a new expansion team in the USL 1.
Okay.
They played their very first match on March 1st ever as a club.
Wow. Okay.
They've spent 4 years getting the necessary finances and building the proper place to play. Played their first match on March 1st against Hartford Athletic. It was a friendly. Beat them 4-0. Yeah. Well, guess who they drew in the U.S. Open Cup? Ladies and gentlemen, surprise, Hartford Athletic.
Yeah.
Of course. So they went all the way. They went the distance, all the way in. It was 0-0, went into extra time. Hartford scored a goal, called back for offsides. Then 1 minute later, scored another goal. That one didn't get called back for offsides. Went in. They tied it. So Portland ties it in the 117th minute of the game.
Magic.
Long ball,
just pure magic.
Long ball. Guy runs right between the 2 Hartford defenders. Keeper's coming out. We're talking like it's a triangle converging on this poor guy. He just flails a leg out, gets his toe on the tip of the ball, and that thing loops and plop into the goal. And
the stuff that dreams are made of. Absolutely. Wow.
And of course, they go to the ensuing penalty kicks, and the goalkeeper for Hearts of Pine, and his name is Hunter Morris. Every single penalty kick picked the correct side.
Oh, amazing!
And then on the third one, got the save.
Just got it.
Just got the save. And unfortunately, the Hartford player who took the fourth kick skied it, and that was it. They just and Hartford hit Portland hit every penalty.
Wow.
So they're moving through. This is going to be that's a is it a cup set? It's a USL 1 team versus a championship team. So yes, strictly speaking, it is. But there's the difference between the USL 1 and the championship isn't all that much. And the difference between Portland and Hartford turned out to be not that much at all. And advantage Portland because they were, I think, by far the better team in the highlights that I saw. They were without a doubt a better side.
Okay.
Than Hartford was.
Wow. And so I'm just looking at all the fixtures here. I'm seeing a lot of like LA Galaxy 2 and Columbus Crew 2. And obviously, so this is obviously sort of second teams, B teams, reserve teams in a way that they're sort of throwing in there. So is there a world in which, for example, LA Galaxy 2, who, I mean, it doesn't matter because they got knocked out by El Paso Locomotive FC. Great name, by the way. But I see like Columbus Crew, for example, got through against Lexington.
That's the third cup set, Gary.
Yeah,
that was the third one.
Right?
And listen, Lexington they're a good team. And Columbus Crew it's an academy team. Their average age is 19 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. The Lexington team average age is 27 years old. There are a lot of very seasoned veterans on that squad. And they had 68% or 67% of the possession. They were completely and utterly dominating the possession of the play. But Columbus were just ruthless, absolutely merciless. And they spanked them. And that was and I was surprised. I thought that one was a real upset.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So this now, obviously, as we know, because there's this new TV deal that's come through, the third round's going to start being televised on CBS. Correct. That's correct, right? It is CBS, yes. So we're going to start now seeing all of these games, obviously a little bit, they're going to be a little bit more, when I say accessible, I know it's on YouTube. I personally sort of, from my own perspective, I feel that, sometimes when things are like streamed on YouTube, there's sometimes a question about legitimacy and all those kind of things, but there's going to be full production capabilities behind this. So we're going to start to get some heroes and some stars coming out of this now in round 3, once these bigger teams come in, and we're going to see some more cup sets.
Perhaps, right? And we should, given the level that I've seen. The other game that was a very close, near cup set was Foro Soccer Club out of Texas. Traveled over to Georgia and brought them into extra times. It was 1-1 at regulation, and it was 3-2 at the end of the game. And the last goal was scored, I think, in the 118th minute. So this one went all the way.
Amazing.
It was. And I watched, balls out crazy. Just stuff, diving, tackles. I mean, what you cannot really put words to it at how magical it was.
Amazing. Yeah. I think what I'm looking forward to is when round 3 comes through, we're going to pick out some stars. We're going to find some young stars, and we're going to profile them as well. I think what I'd really like to do, this would be fun, just to sort of get deeper into the sort of the bowels of the American soccer system, because there's some, again, these development teams, there's young kids in here. There are future stars in here. And I know not to sound sort of like on my soapbox in a way, but as I've been saying, this is what needs to happen for US soccer, is they need to start producing stars rather than attracting fading stars to the major leagues and bringing them up through the ranks. So these kind of competitions and this kind of exposure and sort of interest it's actually a wonderful fertile ground for that to happen. So that's
speaking of fading stars, it's almost as if you were feeding me into that. The Des Moines Menace, which is a club that features one of the most, oh my God, they just updated their logo. I can't believe it. I'm so disappointed.
Yeah,
I just noticed they updated their logo. So they used to have a really old '90s logo style with the anthropomorphized screaming soccer ball. It was just awful. It looks like it was something from the '70s that got put onto some kids dirt bike type of thing.
Wasn't that the old MLS logo at one stage? I think it was a soccer ball with flames coming out of it or stars coming out of the back of it.
That was the Earthquakes logo. I think still might be that. But anyway, this one has a face superimposed on it. So the Des Moines Menace actually has had 7 U.S. men's national team players on it.
This is and they're
retired.
I saw this, and they're just
one of whom got a red card. I don't know. Maybe he was maybe he was on crutches or something. I don't know, but it was. Yeah, they did not advance, and they've done this twice in a row now, where they've sort of flooded. They've like pumped the team up with a bunch of old national team start. Bradley, was it? What's his face? Bradley Wright Phillips. Okay,
Bradley Wright Phillips was playing on there.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh
He was
wow.
starter.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Philippe
Sean
Hernandez.
Wright Phillips. Okay.
Yeah. Philippe Hernandez. And Sasha Clayston.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh yeah. No, I mean we're talking big name.
Yeah.
We're talking big stars here.
Big names. Yeah. Look at that. Bradley Wright Phillips. Oh my goodness. Started up front as well. Oh my goodness.
And
yeah. Ian Wright's son. And yeah, well, that's
Mhm.
okay. That's okay. Oh my goodness. This is this third round. So the third round's going to be really exciting, as I say. Now again, I'm it's definitely been. I've certainly noticed a groundswell as well. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something in the water, if the stars are aligning, or if it's just, again, all boats rising with the tide. But I'd never heard of the US Open Cup until this season, until we started covering it. Right. And then all of a sudden, I've noticed it all across social media. I don't know if the algorithms are hearing my speaking about and sort of playing with it, or there is just suddenly the profile is just raised, and suddenly it's got interesting and exciting all of a sudden.
I think it's because if you're in tune with the sport, you get it, right? And so because we've said it a dozen times, there's a magic in an Open Cup.
Yeah.
Because it's truly open, you don't know what's going to happen. And in this particular case, some real wonderful stuff happened. Real wonderful stuff happened. So the Chattanooga game, right? The Chattanooga Derby, just for those people who are, for all of our listeners in Chattanooga,
all of them.
They had 12,500 fans attend that game.
That's amazing. That is wonderful.
That's more than go to that is more than go to most USL championship games.
Yeah.
And getting really close to a handful of MLS clubs.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, though, it was Chattanooga against Chattanooga Red Wolves. So it was kind of like a local derby in a way. So I imagine there's not too much to travel, and it's not like you're that one lone fan traveling. But 12,000 attendance, that is a lot. That is a lot of people, right? That is a lot.
It's not exactly one of the largest urban hotbeds in the United States, Jerry, Chattanooga. I'm sure you've never been there, but I have. And they have an absolutely fantastic soccer-specific stadium in downtown Chattanooga. It's wonderful. Okay. It is wonderful, actually.
Yeah.
It's and a very good brewery right next to it.
There we go, and a train as well that passes through it as well as the song says
that's
as well,
Pittsburgh.
right?
No, you're confusing Pittsburgh and Chattanooga. What? Just because there was that famous song about the Chattanooga Choo Choo.
That's exactly it.
No. I know where you were going with that. But it was no. It's the Riverhound Stadium that has the trains that go past it during the games, blowing their air horns.
A deep well of U.S. soccer knowledge here, the Qooligan, as always. It's wonderful to hear. It's wonderful.
So true.
Okay, so just to throw you under the spot, the third round for the U.S. Open Cup will begin. Well, there's the draw, and then the third round is when, as we frantically Google it as well.
I believe it is in 2 to 3 weeks, if I am not mistaken. It's
okay.
But do not quote me on that, because I didn't really quite properly prepare.
Oh, someone didn't do their homework. Okay. All right. Okay.
Someone's been busy driving and living out of a suitcase.
Yeah. So we have the third round coming up. It will be televised on CBS as well. So there's going to be some production quality behind it as well. We've got some. I think it's going to be fun where we're going to get to see some more cup sets on the line, obviously, particularly as the bigger teams come in as well. And so we know now we have some new underdogs to be following as well. So it will be the Portland Pines and then also as well the
Hearts
the
of
Barizo
Pine.
boys.
Hearts of Pine.
The Hearts of Pine.
Let's April 15th through the 16th is the
beautiful.
Is the next so it is
not long to wait.
It is in fact in 2 weeks. Yeah.
We're gonna have to do some more exposés into this as well, and to write some more articles about some of these teams, because it's going to be exciting.
We will definitely be highlighting each of the teams that has made it through. Will be getting a special type of shout out from us. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic, wonderful. Well, Kruligan, that is okay. I think that sort of puts a bow around the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup second round, which was obviously exciting. The third round will definitely
Well
have
branded, Gary.
again
Well branded.
raised, yes, Silver Boy Lamar Hunt, as we've discussed, and we discovered the corner of silver markets as well as the starter of many soccer leagues and sports franchises. Okay, so let's move on to the slightly larger league and sort of larger followed league, which is the Premier League is back. We have game week 31 coming up. I know we are sort of in the middle of game week 30. We're recording Thursday morning, afternoon as well. We've done most of those rounds, and the only Chelsea Spurs game is due to come as well, which I will be watching with bated breath here because Chelsea can't seem to do anything, nor can Spurs, so we'll see what happens. But we do have an interesting round of fixtures coming up this weekend, should I say. So do you have any particular picks of these fixtures that jump out at you that you think would be worth watching? I mean, I think just to jump in and I got
to be honest with you, I'm going to bring it up before you can. I'm so embarrassed at Crystal Palace, who can put on a performance of such of such brilliance and confidence against Fulham. I can't even say it, Gary. It just hurts.
And then have a score draw against Southampton, relegated Southampton. Yes. Yeah.
What that tells me, it tells me a couple of things, and I have not seen the game, full disclosure, because I was traveling at the time, but I was in a car. One, these things happen. Okay. Like when you go into a match that you're expected to win and you're on the road, and Southampton's not the easiest place to play. And so you have these moments. You've already had the high of the highs. You haven't had a lot of rest. And so you go in, you're not competing for anything in the league, right? My article notwithstanding, which apparently nobody at the club read my article, because otherwise they would have known that they really needed to have this game in order to make it to Europe.
But that article you wrote about Crystal Palace can get into Europe. Well, there is still an avenue as well after that wonderful FA Cup quarter-final result as well. So there is still a pathway.
There was a silent coda in that article, which was they could also win the FA Cup. But I was afraid to put that into words for that it might manifest itself in a negative fashion. Not do it.
Can I ask, if Man City win the FA Cup and Palace get to the final and lose to Man City in the final of the FA Cup, I think they still get that European spot, I believe. So that could be. We'll need to double check on that.
If they qualify outright, yes, they should as the runner-up.
If Man City come fourth.
That's right.
They should. So there is. So
that means I have to root for Man City.
I was going to say you're about to be a quasi Man City fan now all of a sudden as well.
I feel dirty, Gary. I don't like that.
The beautiful game. Hey,
I've got to think on this. I'm not sure I could do that.
Well, you're going to morals or Crystal Palace in Europe. I know which I choose.
Morals.
Yeah, it's hard.
Sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. So you've got. So
we digress.
Well, anyway, we digress.
We
digress. Indeed, as we do. So So calling out some of the fixtures. So your beloved Palace are playing Brighton. That's
a must win. Just for everything, that's a must win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There it is.
Because
must win.
Whatever we do, we hurt them. It elevates us, brings them down. Have to win.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to, if you do want to sort of qualify for European, just sort of without having to distort your morals and bend your morals in any way as well, either win the FA Cup or climb up the league table. And look, you can do it. There's a bit of a delta between Palace and Brentford, obviously a six-point delta. Oh, sorry, not I'm talking about you and Brighton. There's a 6-point delta. So look, there's still enough runway.
Yeah, I get it.
7 points. Forgive me. Yes, 7 points. So there is still enough runway for you guys to go on a run. And the form Palace have been in, look, I would say, it's not the end of the world. If you look at their last five matches, they've lost one, won 3, and drawn 1. So their form is
still good. Still good.
It's second. It's up there with the sort of Liverpool, Arsenal, and Forest level of form, and they're going on a run. So so that will be an interesting one. Any other games on that one that jump out at you, which you think could be interesting and worth watching?
Yeah, let me have a look. Why don't you talk first, and then I'll...
Well, the one that jumps out at me is Everton-Arsenal, and that one is interesting because that Everton-Liverpool game yesterday, how Everton only lost 1-0 and had 11 players on the field is astounding, and their form has been, they seem to David Moyes has obviously saved them, and they're doing a lot of drawing, but against Arsenal, I think that's going to be a difficult match for Arsenal to go to, and again, with my Chelsea hat on, I think the Chelsea aren't going to catch Arsenal as well, but they need to get some results and sort of those big guys running away. I would like to see Forest still stay up there as well. So I think Everton. There's probably going to be a draw. I can imagine a score draw or sort of stale 1-1 or something like that. And then you've got Fulham against Liverpool. Again, it's Liverpool's Premier League now. I think they've got to just win. Is it five more games to win, and then it's locked up into the bag, or is it less than that?
With the win yesterday, they need four wins and a draw.
4 wins and a draw, and then assuming Arsenal don't pick up any points or pick up a single point against Everton, then that changes that dynamic a little bit. Where they just need, I think they'll need 3 wins. I think after this game week. That's I think
Arsenal stumbles and does not win, then their magic number goes down. That's correct.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty much nailed on for Liverpool. I think the other thing, just watching, is just looking at the relegation zone. It looks like the 3 relegants have been decided
I think the
already.
relegation zone is
it's decided
with one exception. If Ipswich can beat Wolverhampton,
yes,
that is a 6 point relegation battle.
That is,
on Saturday.
Yes.
I'm looking at your face, Gary, and it's and it mirrors my soul, because it's not going to happen.
Well, I will say Liam Delap has got in the headlines with he's got a wonderful goal in this past game week, and it looked really good. So I do think he's they got a rare win, but they're 9 points away. So yes, we can say 6 pointers, but even if they get the 3 points, they're still 6 points away from Wolves, and and it's going to be tight. So I think
and Wolves look good. I'm sorry, but they're. I think it'd be one thing, in my opinion, it'd be one thing if you were talking about that this was Everton, right? Sorry, I don't mean to hate on Everton, but no, I don't think they're going to catch them. But I do think it's going to be it is a really important game though for both teams, and no holes are going to be barred. It'll be a good match to watch. I think it will be one of my picks of the week to put eyeballs on.
Yeah,
and I do want to. I'm glad that you mentioned Everton, because Gary, I have to say, what a remarkable job Moyes has done. They're 14 points clear.
Yeah,
they were nowhere near that. That's an incredible turnaround. So
that's a bounce.
He deserves applause for that.
Yeah, he's going to, he's saved their ass and takes them into the Premier League next season with a new stadium as well, and then a chance to rebuild as well. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens at Everton there. The other game as well that I think will be also very, very interesting and impactful is Villa Forest. Villa, obviously, they are pushing on 3 fronts still in the Champions League, still obviously pushing on trying to get top 4 qualification, and then of course FA Cup as well. Forest are 6 points clear of City. Again, I really want Forest to do it. Forest just need to hold on here. Just they need to grind out a draw. It will be good enough to keep them going. But their form looks good. I mean, that results obviously last week, this past game week as well, where they won 1-0 against who was it? They beat Man United, quite deservedly so. So I think. Again, Forest, the form that they're in, I would really like to see Forest, deliver the goods there as well, and sort of get them back into the Champions League. And then the other one, I think the big one is the Manchester Derby, right? This is.
I was going to say, are we going to go this entire pod without even?
We're saving the best for last.
We put that at the end. Look at how that's it's an afterthought. It's a coda to everything.
I think it's maybe also a testament to how good we become at podcasting in terms of sequencing and programming and saving the best for last and keeping it that way. Or maybe it's just blind
I take
dumb
the
luck.
Entire opposite. I was willing to not talk about it at all because it's become irrelevant. It used to be that it was a thing.
I agree.
It's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing anymore. This is the thing, right? The last time these guys played, both teams were on really bad form, and Man United managed to steal it. If you remember, was it that young kid? Was it Xerxes? Not Xerxes. It was that young kid.
No. The one who tore his Achilles or did an ACL.
Yeah, that's it. That guy. I can't remember his name now as well, but he was a young kid, and he just kept running, and he actually showed some fighting spirit and scored in the last minute. It was wonderful to see.
So good. He was so magic in that game. It was he was just pure. And then of course he got injured, and I'm like, wow. Yeah. Can you have a more Manchester United scenario?
Well, and that's it. And so Man United's season's over. They're not getting relegated. I know I was talking about this and having some schadenfreude earlier on in the season about this.
Correct,
but again, so I mean, this is as you say, the only thing Man City have to do is they have to win, because if not, they're going to have to win the FA Cup But even the FA Cup doesn't get them into the Champions League if they don't qualify in the top five, and it's still not looking likely. So Man City really need to win this one. And I suspect their form is kind of picking up a little bit, which is okay, but they've been still quite inconsistent. But yeah, Man City need to win this one. Although
the young man's name is Amad Diallo.
Amad Diallo, that's it. Thank you. And speaking of injured strikers as well, did you see this? That Erling Haaland as well. He's going to be out for weeks. What did he? I think he did his hamstring, or he did his knee injury or something like that.
It's an ankle.
Rolled his ankle. Yeah. So they are toothless up front. I know they've got that new Egyptian that they've signed, Mamouche, I think it is as well. He looks good, but he's
good. He's so good.
He's good, but he's not delivering. And so Man City have got.
No. I would argue the opposite. I think he's actually doing just fine. I just think that the threshold he's being held to is so much higher than normal.
But I think
as a player making a Premier League debut, he's been very good.
He's been electric. He really has.
He's not been the savior of Manchester City. And so, of course, I mean, you're comparing him up against Haaland, some of these legendary Aguero, some of these legendary players from Manchester City's history. There's no way he can hold up to that. Not in this year.
No.
Not as a mid-season transfer.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Next season as well. We'll judge him by the end of next season. I think.
A little love, for sure. Geez, a little forgiveness. My goodness.
I'm willing Chelsea up in here into the top four as well, and they really need to get over this. This is really where it's coming from. I do want to see. Yeah, I want to see Chelsea get back into the Champions League. That is definitely a big hope of mine. But I don't want to come across as too biased on this podcast. That's for sure.
Too late.
Just in case. There we go. Yeah. Chelsea played Brentford. Obviously, again, Brentford are different. Brentford's home form. That's the one. Their home form. They are really bad, but they are really good on the road, aren't they? Yeah,
I know.
So but again,
Chelsea's a complete switch from the beginning of the season when they were unbeatable at home and dismal on the road.
Yeah. So
Thomas Frank is like, I don't know what kind of deal he's been making with the higher powers, but he's got to get it so he could be good at both.
What can he do?
Flip-flopping all the time.
Indeed. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Well, Kruligan, just as the alarm bells are ringing in obviously your college campus that you are, I think that's a good insight and a sort of, again, trip across both continents as well. We'll have another show coming back maybe later on this weekend. I believe, don't we have the Champions League starting up again next week as well, which will be exciting. I know you're kind of bored of it a little bit.
There's so much more that I would like to talk about as well, including some Club World Cup qualifiers in the Oceanic region.
Oh my God!
Some scoop on.
Okay. Well, do you want to speak about that now, or should we save it for another podcast?
We're going to talk about it later because
perfect.
That won't matter.
That's it. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, as always, Qooligan, thanks for jumping on. Obviously, as you've been on the road and traveling, exciting stuff. And we'll speak to you until next time. All right, Qooligan.
Peace.
Thank you.